everybody, and it is right around the corner for WrestleMania weekend, and we know on WrestleMania weekend we have WrestleMania, the obvious one, and we have NXT Stand and Deliver. So that's what today's video is going to be about. I'm going to be laying down my, not official predictions, but my early predictions, because we know it is 2 weeks away, and we have some matches that still are not announced, but I'm going to be laying down my early predictions, and also my thoughts about every match. So this is going to be a very interesting video to see who might come out as either champion or whoever comes out victorious. There's a lot of questionable ones and a lot of questionable matches in here, so let's get into it. Starting off with Fraxium versus To Be Determined. Now, whoever faces Fraxium should beat them. Now, obviously we're not close to Fraxium being maybe pulled up to the main roster. They should be, but right now I feel like they are the glue holding together the men's tag team division in NXT. I feel like that now. I feel like they're the best tag team in the world, and obviously that's a pretty decent hot take, but I feel like whoever faces them should defeat them because they've been holding the championship for a bit too long. And it pains me to say it because they're maybe my favorite tag team in the world right now. But I feel like that they've been holding it on for so long, and we know they won those tag team titles from Bron Breakker and Baron Corbin, and now Bron Breakker is absolutely going insane on the main roster, and Baron Corbin, I think he got released. So I just hope eventually they can lose the titles and prove that they don't need the titles to be a great tag team, but they put on 5-star matches every time, so I'm not concerned at all why Shawn Michaels doesn't pull the title off of them, because they put on the best matches in the world. It's kind of obvious to not take the titles off of them, but I love what Shawn Michaels is doing with them. I think every single match they get in is worth watching. I'd say my favorite match out of their title reign so far, or recently, is actually, it's not versus the Hardy Boys. It is actually versus Yoshiki Inamura and Josh Briggs. They put on a banger in that match. But yeah, whoever faces them, I do feel like that they should beat them, because I would love to see how they can hold their own whenever they aren't champions. We know whenever Baron Corbin and Bron Breakker were champions, it kind of felt like they were just chasing the titles and they were getting shots and they were losing, getting shots and they were losing. But now it's so weird because almost every week we're getting them mad at each other, but then they're back fine the next week. It's kind of weird. I don't know what they're doing with it. It's kind of just like Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. They disagree half the time, but then sometimes they agree and all this other stuff. But whoever does go against them, I do think they should defeat them, but that is still to be determined. But if I had any tag team that I would like to see them go against, it's either Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura again just for the match, or it would be Hank and Tank to finally see them get their moment. Then we're going to see Ricky Saints versus either Ethan Page, Eddie Thorpe, Lexis King, or Wes Lee. Next week on NXT, we have a Fatal 4-Way match between Lexis King, Ethan, Wes Lee, and Eddie Thorpe. And whoever wins that will go on to face Ricky Saints at Stand and Deliver. I feel like the obvious answer to win that Fatal 4-Way is Ethan Page. It's going to be an AEW affair at Stand and Deliver. We saw them go back and forth last week, and there will be no reason for Ethan Page to attack Ricky Saints just for him to not get to face him at Stand and Deliver. So if they screw him out of this one, I'm going to be very confused. But let's just talk about everybody that is in that Fatal 4-Way match. Ethan Page, obviously, he's doing great things right now attacking Ricky Saints. He's obviously probably going to, 9 times out of 10, going to get a shot at Ricky at Stand and Deliver after he wins this Fatal 4-Way match. But then we get to Eddie Thorpe. He beat Trick Williams in an underground match, and they've done nothing with him since. I feel like that should have led to something huge for him. And I don't feel like they should have downgraded him to the NXT North American Championship. I feel like he should have been boosted up to the NXT Championship level. But right now, it obviously does not feel like he can defeat neither Oba, Trick, or Javon. I just don't think it's possible. And it's weird to me how Trick got boosted up to the main event card, while Eddie Thorpe just got like boosted down. And this is the first time we've seen him on the show in like a couple of weeks. So I feel like they're definitely doing him dirty. But if he wins this Fatal 4-Way match, I wouldn't be mad, but he just has no chemistry at all with Ricky Saints as of current day. And same with Lexis King and Wes Lee. Obviously, Wes Lee and him would put on a great match. All these guys would put on an awesome match. But the one that makes the most sense is Ethan Page, and that's obviously what we're going to get. But let's just talk about when Ethan Page wins, what is this match going to look like? We know they have deep history with each other. They have a week to do the promo, which I think they should have sped this process up a little bit. That's why this is how I'm super excited for the Oba, Trick, and Javon match, because they've built it up over the past few months, and they've really made us excited for it. But this Ricky Saints stuff, they've kind of just thrown it together because Shawn Spears isn't even in the equation to challenge Ricky Saints again. That's why I'm thinking that at Stand and Deliver, we might get Shawn Spears costing Ricky Saints the match against Ethan Page. I could see that. But, I mean, obviously there's still a lot of questions. I'm really excited for it. I think that once Ricky Saints does get this match against Ethan Page, they'll put on an awesome match, and I'm really excited to see if Ricky Saints can show out. I really hope he does. If he embarrasses himself, I really would hate that. But we know he did a great match against Shawn Spears. I mean, the finish was awesome. He was just running all over the place, spear to the Culling, and then spear to Shawn Spears, and then he hits his finisher, and that was it. I mean, it was just so good, but I really hope Ricky Saints picks up with a victory at Stand and Deliver, and I hope he has a very healthy and a long title reign. Then we see the Women's North American Championship ladder match at Stand and Deliver. So far, the contenders are Zarya, Kalani Jordan, Izzy Dame, and Sol Ruca. We know last night we saw Izzy Dame qualify against Ren Sinclair, and we saw Sol Ruca qualify against Jasmine Nix. I think those are both great options. I would love to see Ren Sinclair in the match, but obviously Izzy Dame has more experience, so I am excited to see Izzy Dame in there. But really, so far, there's only really 3 contenders that could possibly win the championship, and that is Zarya, Kalani, and Sol Ruca. Izzy Dame really has no chance in my eyes, but they might give it to her because she is looking like an underdog superstar right now. So there is still 2 superstars to be determined, and I don't know what those matches are. I'll probably have to look it up later. But there's probably the last 2 matches next week to see who will go on to get into that ladder match. But right now, the Women's North American Championship is just relinquished. Nobody's holding that championship now, which I thought is very weird. But I'm excited to see Sol Ruca finally get her moment, if they will let her. I've been saying it a long time now, and I'll say it again. Sol Ruca is maybe the greatest, if not at least top 5 talent in NXT right now. I mean, she is awesome. The in-ring skill from her is at a different level. And if you really take a look at Zarya and Kalani, they're both powerhouses, but I feel like Sol Ruca is kind of still an underdog too. I feel like people don't give her the respect she deserves, and I feel like that she needs to be winning a championship sometime in her career. That's why I'm going to go with Sol Ruca to win this match. Next match, we got the NXT Women's Championship match between Stephanie Vaquer, Julia, Jada Parker, and Jordynne Grace. This one is a very interesting match. We know Stephanie Vaquer did win at Roadblock against Julia to win both of those championships, or win the NXT Championship. She was already Women's North American Championship, but now she has relinquished it. But I do think that Stephanie Vaquer's future is bright, and I want Jordynne Grace to win this match at Stand and Deliver, but I also want Jada Parker to get her moment. Now, Jada Parker's really getting over with the fans right now. Everybody loves her, and same with Jordynne Grace. We just saw an absolute banger on NXT if they would have let it go between Jada and Jordynne. If they would have let that one-on-one match go, we would have had a heater, but obviously we know we saw Jordynne take that nasty bump on the outside whenever she tried to go for the suicide dive, so that obviously deflected some things with that match. I feel like it should have went on longer, but at Stand and Deliver, I do feel like Julia has no chance. Julia and Jada are really the underdogs going into it. I feel like they will not give the championship back to Julia for the sole reason of now she is cleared, now she is fine, and after Roadblock, she was seen wrestling at live events. That's why I was so confused on why they gave the title to Stephanie Vaquer and why they made this match official, because in my eyes, I saw them making this match and giving the title to Stephanie for the sole reason of Julia being injured. And we know the rumors were going around for a couple of weeks talking about how Julia was injured after her match and all this other stuff, but then she was right back to the action the next week. That's what makes me very non-confident that she was actually injured, but I'm pretty sure it was a minor injury, but it is what it is. I mean, we gotta respect it, but at the end of the day, at Stand and Deliver, I do think Stephanie Vaquer will come out victorious, because I just don't see Shawn Michaels taking the title off of her third title defense. We know she did face Jada Parker and Fallon Henley on NXT. She faced both of them in the same night. That's why I feel like that Jada Parker shouldn't be getting another shot at the title, but she is getting pretty lucky right now, and she's staying at the top of the card as she deserves. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for this match, and I really hope it shows out just like we're hoping it will. and what is going to be in the main event of Stand and Deliver, a very interesting match for the NXT Championship, and that is Oba Femi versus Trick Williams versus Javon Evans, and this has a lot of concerns to it. We know Oba, Trick, and Javon have serious beef here, but it's kind of like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk, because before SmackDown, it felt like Roman Reigns and CM Punk had no hatred towards each other, and that's how it feels right now with Javon Evans and Trick Williams. Or this is how it feels between Javon and Oba. Trick and Oba have major beef, and we've seen it escalate over the past few months. But Javon and Oba really just now started interacting. We know Oba costed Javon his Heritage Cup match for the Heritage Cup champion, or the Heritage Cup, and that's whenever their rivalry really kind of heated. But we've been seeing them focus on Trick and Oba for the past few months, and we haven't been seeing them focus on Trick and Javon. Well, that's kind of a lot. We have been seeing them focus on Trick and Javon just a little bit over the past few weeks for the sole reason of Trick and Javon interacting backstage and all this other stuff, but I still feel like that it ain't as heated as it needs to be. I feel like the main question about this match is Dark State. Where does Dark State lie in this match? We know that they faced Trick, Oba, and Javon faced Dark State last night on NXT. At the time you're going to be seeing it, it's probably going to be Friday you're going to be seeing this video. But I still feel like there's something missing in this feud, and I hope they can put that puzzle together next week on NXT. But we do need to add in some social media. I feel like after all this, they should have. We know that Oba and Trick left Javon for the Wolves, and that's how they lost the match to Dark State. But Trick and Oba just started brawling, and that's something that we obviously needed, but it still feels like Javon has no connection in this match. I feel like after the match, Javon, Oba, and Trick should have all been like, hey, you're the reason why we lost this match and all that, and then they should have started brawling. But either way, Dark State should have won that match, which they did, and I'm super excited for that, and their finisher looks awesome, by the way. If you saw NXT and you saw the powerbomb they did to Javon Evans, I think that looks awesome. It's like a different variation of the Shield powerbomb, but it low-key looks cooler. I'm just still so curious about where Dark State lies. I'm wondering what's next for Dark State. I'm wondering at Stand and Deliver if they're going to get involved with this match, and if they do get involved in this match, are they just going to come out and attack Oba, Trick, and Javon? Because we know in triple threats, anything can go. But I'm just super confused. Because if Dark State does just go out there and attack Oba, Trick, and Javon, are they just going to help Oba or Trick win? I'm so confused. But obviously, we could just get Dark State come out and watch the match, and then after the match attack them. That could be something that obviously happens. But the controversy that they've been stirred up in NXT over these past few weeks, ever since their debut, makes not a lot of sense. We know now we've kind of gotten an idea on who is under those masks. They've showed their faces, and last night they showed their faces clearly. We know some of the characters. I don't know all their names. I know Dion Lennox. I know all these other people, but we still got to get them to say their name more. That's one pet peeve that I have about Dark State, and one of the only pet peeves, honestly, is that they don't say their name enough. And I feel like they did because I feel like they need to, because the fans recognize these people whenever new people come into the roster and they're not from AEW and they're just from anywhere and people don't know them. You need to say their name. And that's why people were so confused on why we didn't know Ricky Stark's name at the start of whenever he was in AEW. We didn't know if he was going to keep his name or not. Now he's obviously Ricky Saints, but we didn't know at the time. So I do think that it's hard to say. Y'all know who I want to win. Y'all know I want Javon Evans to win. But in the end, I do think that Trick Williams will end up winning the match. I think that is what will happen. But in my official predictions, I'll probably say Javon Evans because I can't help myself. But at this point in time, I'm going to say Trick Williams. And I think I think that we're going to finally figure out that Trick Williams was the one running Dark State this whole time. I don't know. I just have a feeling. But we don't need more characters of this, so I don't believe in my opinion at all. But if there was anybody out of these three to be running Dark State, it had to have been Trick Williams. But I think that they're just a madman tag team running around attacking everybody. They attacked Fraxium, they attacked Oba, they attacked Javon, and they attacked Trick. I mean, they've just been going after everybody. But still curious on why they haven't attacked Ricky Saints. But that is obviously something that's probably going to be coming in the future. But super excited to see what's happening at Stand and Deliver. I feel like this is awesome. The card looks awesome. Everything looks just to a T perfect. So it's gonna be very good. But in the end, for this last match, I do think Trick Williams will come out with the victory. But that was every match so far on the Stand and Deliver card, and that was my predictions and my thoughts. We have probably a couple of people to still get inducted into these matches. We know that we have the Fatal 4-Way match on NXT next week. We know we got 2 people that should be getting into the NXT Women's North American Championship ladder match, and we know that we still have to get a tag team to face Fraxium at Stand and Deliver. So things are still up in the air, but I thought I'd make this video just for the sole purpose of it's just looking so good, and I'm super excited for it. So with that being said, let me know y'all's thoughts in the comments below on if y'all think that any of my predictions and my thoughts are right. But with that being said, I'll see y'all boys in the next one. Deuces.